Joining us now from Israel is Ayelet Scher, an eyewitness to the attack. Ayelet, thank you for joining us on the program today. I believe you live in Petah Tikva, which is just to the east of Tel Aviv. Can you talk about your experience of the attack for us?
Well, I have 4 young kids, and we were at home, and there were rumors starting that something is going to start soon. And then the sirens went off. We have a minute and a half here, 90 seconds, to get to our shelter, which is downstairs in the building. So the sirens went off, we all ran downstairs. It's very frightening, it's alarming, obviously. My 10-year-old son had a panic attack when we were in the shelter, had to help him breathe through it. But once we're there and we were safe, we trust the IDF, we trust our air defense systems. We know that they're going to look after us. We heard all the interceptions overhead, very loud booms. The building was shaking. There were a lot of them. But, we sat there with our neighbors, our elderly neighbors, and sat there for an hour, waiting for it to pass until we got the sign that it's okay to leave.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience as a mother in that situation, a mother of 4 young children? How do you prepare your kids for such an event? Is it something that you talk about regularly, especially in this last year where the risk factor has been higher? Just talk us through about how you psychologically develop your children in this environment.
Well, like you said, we've had a year experience, and just today, earlier in the morning, there was a siren here, and my kids were in school and they had to run to the safe rooms. What we believe in, and this is what we're told by the Home Front Command as well, we tell them what's going to happen. We try and prepare them as much as possible without exposing them too much to news that can scare them and just cause anxiety and panic. But we tell them what's going on. They can't hide from it. There's no hiding. They live here in Israel. They go through it with us. My older kids are more exposed to the news, which isn't always good because it's unfiltered and it can be scary. But we believe in them and we believe in their resilience, and we can really see, as terrifying as it is to have missiles overhead and the threat of rockets, our lives, we try and live our lives as normally as possible. They go out with their friends, they go to school. And yet they know that they have to have their ears open, and ready to hear what's going on. They know everywhere they go, they know where to run, where's the safest place to go. And we try and, we all hope for peaceful times, but in the days that we live in nowadays, they need to be prepared.
You described the shelter and the bunker that you went to, something you experienced or you shared with your neighbour. Is this a more communal bunker that you went to, or is this a private situation that you invited your neighbours in? How are these bunkers set up, and how is the community kind of gathered around who goes where and how you share these spaces?
So I live in a building. We don't have a safe room in my apartment. So we have a shelter downstairs in the building, under the building, and we run down. Again, we have a minute and a half where we live. My husband, who is head of search and rescue in the city we live in, once he got us, the family, downstairs, he went through the apartments in the building. We have a few elderly neighbors, so he went there, helped them come down, because we have to be careful when we run down the stairs, obviously not to slip, to not fall, hurt ourselves. So he helped them walk down safely. And then we just sit around there. Every boom that happens overhead, you see everyone shrinking in their chairs. We try and keep each other, safe and safe mentally. And we go through it together. And we know we're not alone. We help each other.
And can you tell us a little bit about how the authorities not only prepared you, but how they're preparing you for this next stage, given that Iran says that it will continue with these strikes, Israel says they're going to retaliate? How much information have you had about, your living environment over the next days, weeks to come?
Well, we've heard it's going to be a loud, busy night. My 10-year-old just went to sleep a few minutes ago. We finally got him to calm down enough to go to sleep, knowing that we might have to wake him up again tonight to run down. We know what to do. We know what the instructions are. We all try to keep to the instructions. We know that they save lives. So we just, stay as close to the news as possible without it taking a toll on our mental health. So we're staying on top of it, and yet try to not get pulled in too much, because you can lose your sanity at some point. There's so many outlets of news and media and social media. So it's a fine balance. I can't say we always manage, but we try.
Could you tell me a little bit about those moments, perhaps where you don't manage? I mean, what is your biggest fear in this scenario, given that conditions seem to be ratcheting up? What do you talk about with your husband, your family, about the biggest fear?
My biggest fear is when my children obviously aren't home, and everyone's busy running, and I don't know where they are, and I'm not always sure where everyone exactly is. So my biggest fear is obviously not knowing that they're okay. But as a family, we all have already, the rules where once everyone is safe and they have access to a phone, and we have reception, everyone phones in or sends a message to tell us that they're safe, in my own private family and also in our wider family. And I can't say I'm not worried.
Right.
I am worried, but we have faith, and we trust our army, and we trust the defense systems that they'll look after us.
Ayelet Scher, really appreciate you sharing your experience with us today.